What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about two different cryptos today. We're going to talk about Zcash and Dash, all in the same video. Zcash first, then Dash. It's the 26th day of January, and here we are at about $358 for Zcash with roughly 7 hours and 40 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, my friends. So Zcash, this whole consolidation phase, to me, it's a bit odd. It's a bit of an odd structure, but I don't know if I'm under the belief that we go below this low, right? For a while, for a lot of this move, and even up here, we were thinking that we would go lower, that we would even go below $200. And to be completely fair, I want to address that as a possibility. We're at $360 now. It's completely possible that Zcash does go below $200. It can happen. I don't know if that's the call here, but it's something that we should consider nonetheless. We look at this from a high to a low. You actually showed very positive structure here, finding resistance here, support there, and then support here. You showed some very positive structure. You broke that positive structure, and now you're being negative, right? Like now you're actually finding resistance at prior areas that you used to find support at, all on these fib levels. And typically in this situation, I would not have a problem calling for lower prices. But as you're moving down, there's less volume. Right? It tells me there's less selling pressure going on. And a lot of cryptos have actually been doing this thing where they'll go up to their 0.5, their 382, their 236, whatever, and they'll come back down to the 069, this pink line, and they'll bounce from there. Or they'll find resistance. However, if the fib was, instead of from a high to a low, if it was from a low to a high, they'd find resistance there and then come down. Here we are, right at that 069 level right now, the pink line right there. It's very possible that we do bounce off of this level and then that we recover. A lot of cryptos have actually been showing respect on this for whatever reason over the past couple of weeks. Maybe this is one of them. I want to look at the short-term stuff and see what we can come up with here. So let's do that. 1 hour time frame. Looking at this, a lot of volume at the lows. That's a good thing. And a lot of volume coming out of the lows. That actually looks pretty good to me. Yeah, it seems like that was like a false, like a fake breakout, a fake out right there. 1 hour time frame, the RSI, the stochastics, and the MACD actually all look positive. You're actually getting the MACD to cross above the zero, which is positive on the 1 hour. The 4 hour time frame, you rejected the zero, but now you're coming back up. It's as if this rejection wasn't a real rejection. So that gives me faith that this next move up has promise to break through the zero. And whenever you break through the zero on your 4 hour MACD, typically that bodes well for the price. Here you broke through the zero. That represented a move that went from 384 up to about 460. It's a pretty good move, right? In a very short amount of time, in like a day's worth of time. Whenever you broke above the zero here, that represented a move that went from a low of like 341 to a high of like basically almost $100 higher in about a day's time as well. Right? Typically, these breaks above the zero with the MACD, they actually correlate very well with a movement higher, right? So that's what we could expect to see here, because again, you have this rejection, but now you're coming back up. It's like a false rejection of sorts. Does that make sense? As long as you do pass through. Sometimes you do dilly-dally and then go lower anyways, but I don't know. This looks good to me. The RSI, it's a bit neutral here with a bearish tilt to it, but yeah, it could be worse, could be better. The stochastics look good. I would expect, 2 out of 3 being bullish, or at least having bullish implications. I would expect that we do move higher from here, not lower. The 1 hour time frame looks decent, and the 4 hour time frame looks decent enough, in my opinion, to validate the call that we're going to move higher. Being here at the current price and from that low, I would assume at least that we go up to $400, somewhere maybe just above $400, and then pull back, find support at prior resistance, and then continue on our merry way. Let's see if we do find resistance somewhere, I would say right around like 400 to 410. Yeah, 400 to 410. And if we do, expect to come back and find support probably around here, around like 370, something like that. Anyways, that's Zcash. I do expect that Zcash, and I have a buddy actually who was asking me, why don't you like Zcash that much? I like Zcash. I do like Zcash. And I told him that. But the reason why I don't like Zcash that much, quote unquote, the reason why I don't talk about it as favorably as I talk about some other cryptos is because imagine all the time people had to buy down here, okay? Even at the highest point right now, those guys are up 4.5x. How high is Zcash going to go this cycle? Is it going to give the people who had the worst opportunity to buy at these low areas, is it going to give them a 100x? Probably not. It's probably not going to give them a 100x. The people who bought that high, it's probably not going to do that. And if it's not going to do that, I mean, from that price here to this price here, that's only a 20x move. Only 20x. I'm using those words, yes, because a 20x is fantastic. That's great. I don't think anybody would be upset with a 20x, but I would be upset with a 20x if the rest of the market does a 30x, which that's what it looks like the market's going to do. Is that from here, when we do have alt season, altcoins should roughly see a 30x increase. We should see like a bloom, a very solid boom across the top 100, top 200, maybe even some coins that are lower on the totem pole. But there should be a very large boom in the altcoin markets. 20x, in my opinion, is a hard move from here for Zcash to accomplish. It's not that I don't like Zcash. I just don't like investing in things that underperform the rest of the market. This, by the end of its move, wherever it stops at, I think it'll be around $5,000. It will certainly outperform most coins. It certainly will. From the low, if you invested here on average, right, like just kind of in the heart of the zone to that area, you're getting 100x to 200x. You're getting phenomenal growth. But that's my whole point. Here, you've got people who are getting 100 to 200x gains. They're going to take profit, right? The people who FOMO, they're not the ones that get 100 to why can't I talk? 100 to 200x gains. They're not the ones that get that. 100 to 200, say that fast. 100 to 200, 100 to 200. It makes me want to stutter. I like Zcash. I just don't think that it will, from its current price, compete with the rest of the market at all. And I don't think right now is a good time. I mean, maybe it's a good time to get in right now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's probably at a low point here, honestly, finding support at prior resistance. But I don't know if it's ready to move up just yet. Back in, was it December or November? Might have been November. Let me see. Would have been November, late November, and December. I was saying what I'm going to tell you now. It's probably the earliest that we would see this thing pump, that we'd see it break out of this range, would be February. It's completely possible and acceptable that it takes until March for that to happen as well. Zcash is kind of on its own time right now. Anyways, that's Zcash. Let's move on to Dash. Dash. Yes, I did hear that. $61 right now for Dash. We've pulled back a good little bit. We're going to a lower price here, $58 at the lowest. Let's see, how low did we go? $57.75. If we take this from a relative low here to a relative high here, we're finding support right at the 0.5 right now. That's fine. That's a perfect area to find support. I did assume that we were going to find support here at the 382, and then we came back down, unfortunately. Typically, in this situation, what you expect is that you either do find support at the 0.5 or you can go all the way back down to the golden ratio. So do keep in mind, we could drop down to about $51 to $48. It is possible, and Dash down here is totally fine. It's a great time to buy. I'm not convinced that we go that low, though. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and then zoom out from there. Okay, 1 hour time frame. Come on. A little bit of bullish divergence down here at the lows. You've got more hidden bearish divergence than anything, though. I don't know. It's definitely not a bullish look here. What about something with some volume on it? Let's just see here, 1 hour time frame. I mean, what I will say is bullish. The one bullish thing is that as you're moving down, there's less and less volume. The volume spikes seem to come in when you're buying, and they don't really seem, I mean, there's some whenever you're selling off, but it just seems as though this whole move down has decreased the volume, whereas this whole move up was increasing the volume, right? So I don't think that there's really a whole lot of selling pressure right now, or at least enough to generate significant drops, right? I don't know if we go below $54. Let's see. Low to high. Low to high here. I mean, if we do, if we go below $54, 51.6 to $48 will definitely hold the support. But I don't even know. This really could be the low, with that being said. 4 hour time frame, looking at this, a little bit of a double bottom in the RSI. It does look like you have a downtrend, right? You've got lower lows here, lower highs there. You've got like some kind of trend to the downside here. We haven't broken out of it yet, but whenever we do break out of it, that should promote growth in the price action. We're at the same areas here in the RSI that we were here, that we were here. What did the price look like both of those times? We were at a low point here. Did we move up immediately? No, but we chilled and then we moved up. We were at a low point here. Did we move up immediately? No, we moved down and then we moved up. And we actually moved up above where we were here technically, and then we moved down. But relative low points nonetheless in the RSI. We can go lower. We absolutely can go lower, but I don't expect that we go too much lower. All in all, I think Dash is going to do really well. I think Zcash will do well as well, but I think both of them will see. Dash will probably see prices that are at new all-time, or sorry, not new all-time highs. Zcash will probably see prices that are around anywhere from like 25 to 5,000, $2,500 to $5,000. Dash, we don't know if Dash will see new all-time highs. I'm not completely convinced that it does. But what I am convinced of is that from a high to a low here, you've hit your golden ratio, you came back to your 236, you're finding support at your 382 now. What I am convinced of is that when you move up, you'll probably take this high out and you will stop somewhere around this zone here, which is anywhere from about $240 to roughly $330. So that range there, that's what we're looking for. This prior area of resistance here, prior areas of resistance going back in time as well. It kind of makes sense, and support right all in this zone here. So something between 330 and 240. We're at 680 now. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of Q1 Dash is up here, if not sometime in early Q2. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. This last move that Dash hit with this like 2 weeks ago, I think validates that we don't need to see Zcash breaking out in order for Dash to break out. They did move in tandem here, but they're not really moving in tandem here. Zcash has been moving down over the past 2 weeks, whereas Dash over the last 2 weeks is actually up from where it was. So we can definitely make this move while Zcash is still consolidating. Anyways, ta-ta for now. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.